and the ears of a man need to hear of the Lamb who was crucified, who descended to hell yet was raised up to reign at the Father's side. And the angels will cry, "Hail the Lamb, who was slain for the world, ruling power." And the earth will reply, "You shall reign as the King of all kings and the Lord of all lords." And the angels will cry, "Hail the Lamb, who was slain for the world, ruling power." And the earth will reply, "You shall reign as the King of all kings and the Lord of all lords."
Beyond all measure, that he should give his only Son to make a wretch his treasure. How great the pain of searing loss! The Father turns his face away, should I gain from his reward? I cannot give an answer, but this I know with all my heart: his wounds have paid my ransom. Peace be to these streets. Peace be to these streets. Peace be to these streets in the name of Jesus. Love come to these streets. Love come to these streets. Love come to these streets in the name of Jesus. Walk here, Lord. Draw near, Lord. Pass through these streets today. Bring healing, forgiveness. Here let your living waters flow. Joy come to these streets.
Love changes everything, hands and faces, earth and sky. Love changes everything, how you live and how you die. Love can make the summer fly, or a night seem like a lifetime. Yes, love changes everything. Now I tremble at your name. Nothing in the world will ever be the same. Love changes everything. Days are longer, words mean more. Love changes everything. Pain is deeper than before. Love will turn your world around, and that world will last forever. Yes, love changes everything, brings you glory, brings you shame. Nothing in the world will ever be the same.
Jesus said, "Because I live, you will live also." Those are his own words of promise, and they're every Christian believer's words of hope. This life is not all that there is, and for those who will put their hope and faith and trust in God, the best is still yet to come. We are here today now then, so very sadly, for Sadie's funeral service. We are here to mourn her loss, but we're also here to remember and to be thankful for her life. Sadie is mom to John and Tracy. She's a mother-in-law to Caroline and Richard. Sadie is Nan to Louis, Isabel, Ryan, and Molly. She's a great Nan to Harry, George, Leo, and Archer. Sadie is a sister to Michael, and also to Ashley, who has already sadly gone before. She's a sister-in-law to Pat, and an auntie to Martin and Emma. So maybe the reason some of you have come here today is because Sadie is a relative of yours. Or maybe what's brought you here is that you would be honored to call her your friend. Maybe she's a neighbor. Perhaps at some point she's been a colleague of yours. However you knew Sadie, that's unique and therefore very special for you. And she must have made such an impression for good upon your life that you would all be nowhere else but here for her today. So first of all, we're here for Sadie, to remember her and honor her, to give God thanks for her life. But we're also here to try and help each other as we go through this difficult time together. Now, 2 lovely hymns have been chosen for us to sing today to help us through the service. The words to the hymns have been printed inside your service sheet, but for both of the hymns, could I say, if it's easier for you, please feel free to stay seated. But if you can, Would you stand with me as we sing our first hymn? It celebrates life in all its richness and variety. It's all things bright and beautiful. Would you stand with me if you can? Thank you. Standing. Thank you. Now then, we're here for Sadie, right? So I am okay to give you a little bit of gossip. Is that okay? I'm not saying Sadie liked gossip. I'm not. I'm just saying she did like to know if there was any information that she didn't already know. Well, she already knows this because she's been watching in. But other than a few people on the front row, I am going to tell you that we've had a little tad of discussion about the length of the tribute. Just saying. So, had we been using John's tribute, I don't know what time your reception is booked for, but you would be late. Joking aside, how do you put 92 years? You know, how do you do that? Well, you don't, do you? And how do you choose? Well, I really want to say that, and people really need to know that. And what do you choose? Well, actually, it's interesting, but maybe we've got to trade it. So I need you All of those of you who know her well, I need you to read between the lines, because we've had to do a edit, cutting room floor, edit. John is still too long. Do you know what he actually said to me? I don't care, John, I'm just saying it like it is. It was about like 300 pages. You could have published it, to be honest. And I said, John, are you okay with like quite such a long tribute? And he said, well, if you like, you can take out the paragraph about the FA Cup. And he said, there's also one sentence that you could take out. John, that'll save me about 30 seconds. I want you to listen. It's a beautiful tribute. And I'm not joking. The original was at least twice as long. And although that's not okay for today, it is okay, isn't it? It's more than okay. Look at what we want to say about Sadie. I usually say at this time, if I asked every one of you to give me a memory, can you imagine how long we would be here? Well, we're trying to do our best to get as much as we can of this wonderful, colourful lady's life sayable in a service. Yeah? So, this is where I really delicately pass any blame. I'm reading on the family's behalf. Sadie was born at home on the 16th March, 1933, the second child of Major Boss Cohen and Sarah Elizabeth Price of 3 Church Road, Cradley, and she joined her firstborn brother, Ashley, who arrived in 1932, and then baby Michael, who arrived in 1938. Sadie went to school at Collie Lane in 1938 and then on to Homer Hill until leaving at age 14 in 1947. And all 3 children also went to Overend Mission Sunday School. Childhood memories were a bit hazy, but Sadie did recall that she was a bit naughty. A bit. And in particular, got into trouble for biting her older brother, Ashley. Her favourite game was hopscotch, and her favourite food was her mum Sarah's homemade faggots and pies. Brother Michael recalled that Dad, Major, always had pigs, chickens and birds in the back garden. Now, Sadie's first job was in 1947 at Myra's pen factory, earning just 2 halfpenny a week and commuting by train from Langley Green. After 6 months, she spent a month hopping in Worcestershire, an experience that doubled as a rare family holiday. In 1953, the family took their first proper holiday to Blackpool. She later worked at Birmingham Sound Reproducers, BSR, then at a valeting service in Cradley alongside her mother. She went on to work at Helix in Lye, where she met her lifelong friend Lily Crump. Alongside her main jobs, she also worked behind the bar at the Thorns for her parents. After having children, Sadie became a part-time home help for Dudley Council, working for 18 years there. And even after retiring, she continued working as a cleaner at G.I. Sykes Painting and Decorating. Sadie loved to dance with a group of friends at various locations, including the Regis Hall in Old Hill, which is where she met Harry at a dance in 1956. And after a 6-month courtship, they got engaged. The wedding for Harry and Sadie took place on Saturday the 23rd of March, 1957, at St. Andrew's Church, Quarrybank, on a gloriously sunny day, with the reception taking place at the Thorns pub in the smoke room. The happy couple left around 7 p.m. in Harry's old Austin 7 for a hotel in Knutsford, en route to their week's honeymoon at Harry's sister Olive's guest house in Blackpool. Sadie and Harry's first marital home was at 6 Vicarage Road in Lye in 1958. Son John then duly arrived in December 61. In November 65, the family took over as licensees of the Vine pub in Blackheath. The pub experience lasted until 1967, when they moved back to Lye to a semi-detached in Hayes Lane, and it was here that daughter Tracy arrived in July 1970, completing the happy family. They made their final move to Park Street in 1978. Harry and Sadie were always going out somewhere, to pubs and clubs, especially Lye Labour Club, for a game of snooker for Harry, or variety nights. And she went to many live concerts with her sister-in-law, Pat. And, of course, she went to play bingo, which was a lifelong passion, both for Sadie and Harry. John said that Mum and Dad always seemed to be going out somewhere. I don't recall either parent being particularly big drinkers. They just liked socializing. However, there was one memorable occasion at the closing night of the old Bottom Bell. All the stock had to go. And I recall that Mum spent most of the next day in bed. Sadie was a regular church attender, first at Ebenezer Methodist Church in Love Lane, until sadly in 1972 the church had to be demolished. Meetings then moved to the community centre until the new church was opened on Upper High Street in 1979. Following the move to Park Street, Sadie became a regular and enthusiastic attendee right here at Bethel, where she was so proud of being the longest serving member of Wednesday Cornerstone Lunch Club. She was particularly proud that she would regularly get invited to Collie Lane Primary and Woollerscote Primary Schools to talk to the children about growing up in the war years and how different life used to be. Grandchildren arrived to bring new joys in the form of Louis, Isabel, Ryan, and Molly, with Harry and Sadie both spoiling them and taking them out on trips. Great-grandchildren brought further joys as Harry, George, Leo, and Archer in post-retirement years. Harry stopped going on holiday, but undaunted, Sadie would jet off on her own or with her mates Myrtle, Bessie, and Jutta, both at home and even abroad a few times. Sadie was devastated after losing her husband Harry, the most important person in her life, and many wondered how she would cope with such a loss. That she went on for another 11 years reflected her strength, resilience, and love of life, despite ongoing health issues. During that time, she stayed active and social, regularly attending lunches, community groups, and outings, of course, including bingo and trips to the Mecca. In 2018, Sadie got a shock when the phone rang one day and it was Jim Walker, an old flame from Leeds, whom she first met in 1953 on a day trip to Blackpool. They did briefly keep in touch, but then life got in the way as Jim joined the army and they lost contact. Fast forward 65 years. Jim, now 86, and having also recently lost his wife, decided to search for that young black country lass that he had met all those years ago. And somehow he found her. That first phone call lasted for over an hour, something that was to be a regular, almost daily occurrence over the next 8 years. Jim, amazingly, was still driving. So can you imagine the surprise when one Sunday, Tracy called in to see Sadie, and there was Jim sat on the sofa. It was a bit of a shock. Over the next 2 years, Jim travelled down 2 or 3 more times, and they would also go on coach trips where Jim could get the coach from Leeds and Sadie from here, so they would meet up at various seaside locations, but especially Llandudno, to spend the week very happily together. Here are some more personal memories. Daughter Tracy says that her mum was a remarkable woman with a massive personality and a cheeky sense of humour. Often outspoken, if she didn't like something, you knew about it. Oh yeah. She battled with pain for many years, but it never stopped her determination to live life to the full. And when asked by the care manager what was most important to her, she replied, family. She loved and was loved by many family and friends. I like to think she was loved so much that her heart couldn't fit any more in. She came out with the most hilarious things. Like once, while at Mecca Bingo, she had a sneezing fit. And when she'd finished, she'd sneezed her false teeth right out. She then said, well, I looked at the table and there were my teeth smiling back at me. Or there's the time when we had a group photo at Isabel's hen do with 20 or so ladies. The photographer said, say something that makes you smile. Mum sat on her walker at the front and shouted, sex! Which produced the best photo as we were all in hysterics at the apparently sweet old lady who was sitting at the front. Mum has left a massive gap, and she will be missed dearly, but we are all honoured and blessed to have had such a wonderful woman and role model in our lives. Some words now from Caroline, Sadie's daughter-in-law. Sadie was an extraordinary woman with many talents and strong convictions. She loved her family and was very proud of all of them, though she didn't always find it easy to express that emotion. She was a great cook, took pleasure in feeding everyone, always proper English food, although carrots should never be served with fish, was one of her infamous quirks. There was never anything foreign. Although she would eat pizza occasionally, and she did love a good barbecue. She was almost always late for everything, including her funeral. In fact, Mecca staff would hold the game if they saw them arriving at the last minute, as would Jill at the Hadcroft, who's here today somewhere. She could tell you dates of long ago events and the history surrounding many occasions as if they were yesterday. And she had an encyclopedic knowledge of local street locations, which was amazing to behold. Her grandson Louis says, at many a family Christmas, Nanny would nod off between 5 and 8, which then gave her a second wind, which could carry her through to 1 o'clock in the morning, when the rest of us would be longing for bed. She had to be dragged out by Isabel from my wedding when we closed down early so that we could get 3-month-old Leo down to sleep because she didn't want to miss out on another chance at the buffet. I almost set her on fire once, pouring brandy over the Christmas pudding. Well, do you know, luckily only the tablecloth got a little singed, and Nanny escaped largely intact. Another year, she got quite sozzled, drinking snowballs, because she said she didn't realise they were alcoholic. Yeah. Some words from her granddaughter, Isabel. My childhood memories are of Sundays all together. Grampy prepping the veg in his armchair, Nanny in the kitchen, and the sound of the ice cream van exciting all generations. During regular visits and phone calls, Nanny would always take a keen interest in what we'd been up to and where we'd been and with whom. She rarely declined an invitation out, and we had lovely family holidays with the great-grandchildren to Breen, Bognor Regis, Minehead and Skegness. Sadly, on March the 14th, 2025, Sadie ended up in Russell's Hall for 4 weeks before she recovered enough to come home. But unfortunately, this had rendered her immobile, which was particularly tragic for a woman who had always loved going out. That she lasted for another 12 months stuck in bed was testament to her determination and her strength of character. She got used to this new normal, and she loved watching game shows on the TV and regular visits by family and friends. They also helped her immensely. We make special mention here for Sadie's brother Michael, who hardly ever missed a day visiting, despite being mostly reliant on public transport. And also Pauline and Sandra from Bethel, who regularly visited her, which lifted her spirits as they rolled back the years. After a lovely Christmas surrounded by all her family, in January 2026, Sadie was put onto palliative care, and yet she still lasted another 58 days before passing away peacefully in her sleep at home on Sunday, March the 8th. That was a great, shortened tribute. And now, some words for Mom. Could I ask John to come forward? Thank you. How long is that going to take?
Ah, dear. Oh, follow that. Ah, it is all very true. The original was incredibly long, but thank you, Jill. Beautifully done. Ah, there. Welcome, everyone, and thank you all for joining us today in this celebration of our mum. It's amazing to see so many of you here to pay tribute to a wonderful, remarkable woman, our Duchess, Sadie Slim. I think I've been dreading this moment, really, since Dad passed away in March 2015, and we all wondered how long Mum would survive. That it was so long that she did was, as Jill said, just goes to show the courage, resolve and sheer determination of our wonderful mother. Oh, dear. I didn't have this problem when I practiced this earlier on. Mum loved life that much we all know that. So it's hard to imagine what she must have been feeling in March 2025 when she emerged from that hospital, recovered, but sadly bedridden. Thanks to the efforts of so many family and friends, she survived for that whole year. So I'd just like to thank publicly and record my appreciation of so many people who did help. First off, huge thank you to Jill and Jane and Hayley and everyone at Bethel for all the love and thoughts and help and messages, and also for cancelling today's Cornerstone lunch so that we could all be here, because, well, yeah, right about now we should all be sat round there tucking into the roast beef, which Mum always obviously loved to do, thus allowing her to come back to her second home one last time, which I thought was so fitting. Tracy and Richard, thank you for being our rocks. Providing so much love and support whilst coping with all that life could throw at you, both at Mum's and elsewhere. Michael and Pat, thank you again for the love, the visits. Michael, I know she didn't say much, but she's so appreciated you making the effort. Isabel and Robert for bringing Harry and George to visit her so many times, that always raised a smile to her face and brought so much joy into her life when it was so pretty miserable, really, stuck in that bed. Similarly, Louis and Katie, who, if you don't know, live in Brussels, so don't come over as often as they'd like, but they sent regular videos, and Mum delighted in watching the grandkids. It was her joy. Grandson Ryan and partner Hannah. The random visits, often late at night, with takeaways and entertaining tales of whatever had happened that day in the political world and beyond. Granddaughter Molly, and also Jack, who again would, despite having to work, and especially Molly on the night shift, would still find time to come and visit and spend hours with her. And also the wonderful medical expertise, because those of you who don't know, back in January, Molly graduated as a paramedic, and we were all so proud of that, and Mum was so proud. Pauline and Sandra from Bethel, wherever you are, they arrived every week virtually to visit, and they'd sit there for an hour, and having known us for so long, it was a joy to listen to see her just reminiscing and enjoying all those happy times of days gone by. Katie and Sandra from Neverton Church Lunch Club, and also Catherine from Amblecote Christian Centre, where she also visited. They all made regular visits, despite obviously being very busy people, and brought the well-wishers from those church lunches into her life. I think I say a bit too much, sorry. Huge thanks to Jim, who tracked Mum down all those years, after all those years. The nightly calls, the letters, the messages, the love, I just kept her going for all that time, through the dark days. Lastly, my wife Caroline. Thank you for always being there, my shoulder to cry on, and my love. Mum was justifiably proud of overcoming so many obstacles and hurdles over the years. In particular, she used to describe herself as the Barney woman to anyone new that we met, and we met a few new people over the last 12 months with nursing staff and caring staff. thanks to the replacement knees and hips. And she was clearly made of strong stock, because she did have quite a few falls over the last few years and never once broke anything. Bionic indeed. Caroline mentioned in the eulogy some of Mum's quirky phrases, so here's another couple. Leopard's core change the spots, which is usually in reply to me trying to tempt her into trying something new food-wise that she wouldn't actually consider, like, I don't know, carrots and peas with your fish. This one, I don't know, gives a kiss and lends a fiver. Anybody heard that before? Mum used to say that quite regularly. I never understood it. Baffling, but so very Mum. Lastly, whenever the great-grandkids did rock up at the house, she would always launch into this little ditty. So join in if you know it. We all went on a donkey when we went to Clint. We all went on a donkey when we went to Clint. We all went on a donkey when we went to Clint. And we stopped at the gypsy's tent. And they loved it. It was joy on their faces, watching her lying in that bed singing that. Ah, dear. In closing, I did this for both Dad and Ashley, so our hearts are full of memories. With pride we speak your name. Though life goes on without you, it will never be the same. Rest in peace, Mum. We miss you so very much and love you so very much. Thank you.
So I invite you now just to sit quietly and not only listen, but watch a time of visual tribute. As you reflect, try and allow all those good memories to come flooding into your minds. Beautiful. Thank you to Jane and Hayley for putting that together. Thank you, thank you. And now, for the final two parts of our time of spoken tribute, could I ask Ryan and Molly to come forward, please? Thank you.
A great start. I'm going to do that, okay. Right. Thank you, everyone, for being here today to celebrate the life of a wonderful woman, my nan, Sadie. Oh, man. While I was writing what I wanted to say today, I felt something really strange, because just like today, I'm upset and I'm heartbroken. But despite this, I'm not really sad. Because how can I be? My nan made people's lives better and happier and funnier simply by being in them. And when I look back on my life with her, even in those final months, there was still so much laughter and joy, and that's what I want to share with you today. Oh, man. When I think of my childhood and the many days and evenings spent at Nan and Grampy's house, the thing that's in every memory is the noise. The television being on so loud that the top of the street can hear. Nan shouting from the kitchen through to Grampy, who was pretty much completely deaf, to come and put the gravy on. You'd hear his bellowing laugh from the other room and Uncle Ashley's schoolboy giggle following shortly after. There was so much life in the house. And for me, in my childhood, Friday night dinners there were a part of growing up, and we'd take our dog Maxie and I'd walk him around the lie with my friend Javon, who lived just round the corner, before heading back for tea. Nan's mobility has always been poor in my lifetime, so upstairs felt like a museum of family life. It held the traces of Nan and Grampy and Mom and Uncle John and all the years that have been lived there. And Molly and I had spent hours up there inventing games or rummaging through things and finding what felt like lost treasures, including Grampy's wig once. I also remember Nan at every event growing up. When my primary school did a Wartime Britain project and asked if anyone who had grown up during the war would like to come in and speak, Nan and Michael couldn't volunteer quickly enough. She wanted to help and share her story and be involved, and she just loved being around people. She'd have been gutted to miss the wake today, actually. She was the same with every school production and every Christmas and summer fair. It would have taken divine intervention to stop her having a go on any raffle. And even being ill had its upside, because it meant a day off watching daytime TV with Nan or Grampy. And school holidays were similar. They were always the most exciting when we were dropped off at Nan and Grampy's, because they could never just leave us in the house. They wanted us to take us somewhere. There had to be a plan. That usually meant going to a soft play area, but one day announced that we were going on the Severn Valley Railway. And it goes past the safari park, I remember Nan telling me. Well, I was 7 years old. I had no idea what the Severn Valley Railway was, but I knew perfectly well that going to the safari park sounded much better than just driving past it. And so once Molly and I made that clear, we were bundled into the car and off we went to the safari park. And my memory of the day is hazy, but if Grampy's driving was anything to go by, I'd say we had a much better time there than the animals did. Dinner afterwards was at the Pizza Hut, because Molly and I insisted on it. While we tucked into our pizzas, Nan and Grampy were perfectly content with their cups of tea because, as has already been alluded to, those who knew her well knew that she wasn't a fan of the exotic. It was a meat and two veg kind of household. I was very fortunate to spend the last few years of her life living with her, and some of my proudest achievements were convincing Nan to try new foods by telling her that they were a bit like something else. Pizza is a bit like cheese on toast. Kebab was just mincemeat. But she drew the line firmly at curry being a bit like soup. Living with Nan also meant that I got to see her wonderful cheeky side. She was a flirt, there's no point pretending otherwise. I don't think I ever saw her smile more than when certain men walked into the room. My friend Ethan, Richard, or Dad could arrive and suddenly she'd find a fresh sparkle. And in those final weeks where she could spend days and hours without saying a single word, only to find the strength to have a full conversation when one of her favourites appeared. In fact, I remember one evening having some friends around who stayed a bit too late and needed somewhere to sleep. And I went to check with Nan first if that was all right, and without hesitation she said, "If there's not enough space, Kobe will have to get in with me." We also had a secret pact. As any loving son would, Uncle John did all he could to keep Nan as fit and as well as possible, particularly making sure that she ate somewhat healthily and at reasonable times. And he'd spend most evenings with her until the carers tucked her into bed, and then he would head home. So this is my confession. On most of those nights, I'd wait to hear the door close, I'd sneak downstairs, and Nan and I would enjoy biscuits or cake well past midnight, laughing about how we would both be in trouble if John came back. Living with Nan also meant seeing some of the harder parts of growing older and watching her slow down and her mobility decline, and watching someone who'd always loved being out and about lose some of that freedom. And it was really hard. But it also meant sharing some moments of real joy. Nan would pretend to be completely unimpressed by my cat Noodle. She acted like she wanted nothing to do with her a lot of the time, yet I would be upstairs and I'd hear her downstairs laughing and talking to the cat and playing with her when she thought nobody could hear. And Uncle John was quite similar, actually, if I remember rightly. And hearing Nan downstairs became a common theme in those years, but quite often it would be her singing down the phone to Jim, who brought her so much happiness and showed her so much love in the later chapters of her life. Their calls became a part of the rhythm of the house, and it was lovely to know that she still had companionship and excitement and someone who thought the world with her. Living with her also meant taking her out for meals, to community events and on little outings, because she always loved being amongst people. It meant showing her the wonders of the internet and that any film in the world could be watched whenever she liked. And yet with all that choice, it was still always Mamma Mia or Titanic. And I'd often, as you've heard today, we hear about her mobility struggles, but it is only fair to say that she never seemed to have much trouble moving quickly if we were running late for the bingo. On all of those occasions, a burst of speed could be found. And after a huge fight to keep her moving, there came the point where we had to accept that she would be bedbound for the rest of her life. And that was painful, knowing that she was always such an outgoing and social person. And so we knew our job, therefore, had changed, and if we couldn't get her out into the world, we had to bring the world to her. And we could only do that because so many people helped us. The carers who treated her with kindness and dignity, the nurses and staff who looked after, and the family and friends who gave their time, patience and love, and we will always be grateful. And some examples of that are Molly and Isabel bringing the bingo round to play with her around Christmas time. Hannah and I decorating her room for Christmas and filling it with lights and colour and dancing to Christmas music while Nan sang along. And even in those final few months, there was still laughter and warmth and life in that house. For Christmas, Hannah and I brought her a memory book filled with questions to ask her about her life. One asked, "Were you named after anyone?" And without missing a beat, she replied, "How can I be? There's only one Sadie Slim." And how right she was. She leaves a huge space in all of our lives. And maybe one of life's great sadnesses is that it's only when someone's gone that you can really see the mark they made on the people around them. And if that's true, then all we need to do is look around this room today. The number of people, the number of faces here, and the love in the room, and the people who've come to pay their respects tells you everything about the mark that my Nan left on the world and the lives of those who knew her. She was strong and funny, stubborn, loving, sharp, cheeky, proud, and utterly unforgettable. She made ordinary days brighter and family feel warmer, and effortlessly made people laugh. She gave us so many of the memories that will stay with us for the rest of our lives, and I am lucky to have had her as my Nan. I'm lucky to have grown up in that house with the noise and the laughter and the life that she created. That no matter what was going on, Nan and Grampy's house always felt like a constant. I was lucky to spend those final years with her and to repay even a fraction of the love and care she gave so freely to others. I was lucky to see that even as her world became smaller, her humour never did. And luckier still for one final gift. Because in those final days, when we did not know whether we had hours, days, or weeks left with her, much of the time she didn't have the strength to speak. But as I left the house and kissed her on the head for the final time, whispered, "I love you," she found the strength to say it back. Thank you.
I don't really know how to follow on from that, to be honest. Right. Hello everyone. So, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Molly. I'm Sadie's youngest granddaughter. So being the youngest means I can't necessarily stand here and reminisce about her early years like most of you can. But while I may not have known her the longest, I was lucky enough to know her in a way that was uniquely ours. I'll be the first to admit, unlike Ryan, I'm not the most literate person, but then again, neither was Nan. So perhaps that's the first beautiful similarity Sadie and I have that I can share with you today. Standing here now, all I can say is, how lucky am I for the 24 years that I had her by my side. So here's a little something I'd like to share with you all, and hopefully you can see a little part of her in me. So, how lucky am I that when life felt heavy, I could lean on her strength. Nan knew better than anybody that words were not always the answer. And sometimes the best comfort in the world was just a cup of tea, a cream cake, and the feeling of being completely understood without saying a word. How lucky am I to have shared our own language? The jokes, the secret jokes, the little smirks, and the knowing glances across the room. We had a bond that needed no explanation, and a friendship that I will carry with me forever until we next meet again. How lucky am I that because of the countless hours we spent side by side in the kitchen, I am now the proud keeper of her best and oldest recipes. And every time I bake, I'm sure she'll be there with me. One of my favourite memories with my nan was the Saturday night sleepovers, waking up at 3 a.m. to make pancakes in the kitchen, topped with a ridiculous amount of sugar and all washed down with the Horlicks. How lucky am I to have been loved by a woman who supported and inspired every path I took. I never had to wonder if Nan was proud of me. She was always the proudest person in the room. She took great pride in telling everyone that she met that her granddaughter was a paramedic. And that pride carried her through to the very end, when she managed to find the strength to hold on to see me in my cap and gown when I graduated in January. And just to mention, it's funny that we sang on the Donkeys Up to Clint, because she sang that to half of the ambulance service that she's met, and they all remember her for singing it. So how lucky am I that I get to carry a little piece of Nan with me forever? People often say we are so alike, our smile, but also our frown. But it was more than just that. It was the way we laughed at the same things. It's the way we could both be a little bit stubborn. Our mannerisms, our personalities, and our looks were all so similar. But most importantly, she taught me to always care and love deeply. I hope I never lose these little parts of you in me. And finally, almost, how lucky am I that when my own time comes to walk down the aisle and the church bells are ringing, she will be with me. She may not be there to take a seat, but she'll be here on my hand. I will cherish her ring forever and make sure to promise that she continues to see the world through my eyes. So here's a little story about a few weeks before she passed. Mum and I found a small handwritten note. It looked like a poem beginning with the words, "When my old wedding ring was new." We were both crying our eyes out on the living room floor, imagining that Grampy had written these romantic words for us. But when we asked Nan, in true, sharp-witted Sadie style, she looked at us and simply said, "Don't be daft, your Grampy couldn't read or write." And that it was a song from the social club. So we all had a laugh, but looking back now, I realised the words couldn't be more perfect. So I'm going to read the lyrics and I hope you can all enjoy listening to them. It reads, "When your old wedding ring was new, and each dream that I dreamed came true, I remember with pride how we stood side by side. What a beautiful picture you made as my bride. Although silver crowns your hair, I can still see the gold ringlets there. Love's old flame is still the same as the day I changed your name, when your old wedding ring was new." Before I take my seat, there is one more person I'd like to mention, and I know he's been mentioned, but he is just that special, to Jim. You were a flame that never died, a story of true old-fashioned love. Sadie and Jim's story touches everyone who hears it, so it's only right that we say a special thank you for the love and care, for loving and caring Nan in a way that reminds us all that love really is all you ever need. And finally, to Nan, you are the gold in all of our memories, and how lucky am I that you are mine. Thank you.
Thank you both very, very much indeed. And now, as we move towards the close of this part of today, I invite you again, if you can, would you stand with me as we sing together the Old Rugged Cross.
Cross,
down if you're standing. Thank you. After our closing prayer, we're going to move on to Stourbridge Crematorium for our service of committal for cremation. If you are staying here, we are going to stream the service at Stourbridge here. So either come with us or you are welcome to stay and watch the streaming. Would you pray with me now as we close this part of today? Go with us, Lord, we pray, from this place to the next. Be our strength if we feel weak. Be our hope if we feel despair. And remind us, Lord, that death is not the end, just the doorway to a brand new beginning. So, for Sadie's Christian faith that has remained with her throughout her life, which has now taken her home, we give you our thanks. For Sadie, Lord, whom we will always remember, we will also always be thankful. Amen.